Hey guys, it is Christy here with Time to Profit. If you don't know me, what I do is I help small business owners win more clients by helping them to create sales strategies and strengthen their sales skills, because a lot of times small business owners put themselves at the mercy of marketing and they're waiting for the phone to ring. They're hoping those emails come in. And what I want to do is help you be proactive so that you can work with your dream clients. And here's the cool thing. I know sales sounds scary, but it is one of the most important skills you can have as a business owner. And when you master it, it also increases your success and confidence in all areas of your life. So today we are talking specifically about how you can create conversations with those dream clients that you want to work with. So last week, and you can go back and watch this or find it on the mytimetoprofit.com website, we talked about finding your dream clients. And the next step of that is, once you've found them, how do you engage with them? How do you start meaningful conversations in a way that is rewarding for both them and for you as a business owner? And here is the thing. This step of creating a wow-worthy key message is what I like to say, or something that piques the curiosity of your dream clients. It can be challenging because your dream clients aren't thinking about you. They are thinking about themselves. They are thinking about their business challenges. They are thinking about their home life challenges. They are thinking about getting their kids to school, their dog to the vet, and the client proposal done. They're thinking about making their boss happy. They have not thought anything about you. And oftentimes they're not even thinking about the solution that you offer. All they're thinking about is their challenges and your goals. And so if you try to speak to them or start a conversation with them about your business, about your solution, about what you do, you're going to lose their attention. Their filters are going to go up, they're going to tune you out, and it's going to be really hard to create a meaningful and engaging conversation. And so today, that's what I want to do. I want to help you have the right tools to create that meaningful and engaging conversation. So here's how we're going to do this. We are going to break this down. First, I want to give you an example. So the best example I have for this is that if you're out at a crowded event and you're deep in conversation with your best girlfriend, right? You're sharing a glass of wine and you're just immersed in talking about your lives. There's a lot of background noise around you, but you don't even notice it. You're not paying attention to it, right? So in fact, right now I'm in this co-working space, The Haven. It's a beautiful co-working space in Bend. There's a lot of buzz around me. People are having conversations, but I was prepping for this. So I was immersed in my work. I'm not even aware of it. I might hear some noise, but I'm not paying attention to it. So here's the thing, right? So those things are happening. You're deep in conversation. You're deep in your work. There's all this noise happening. But then all of a sudden, if somebody says your name, right? If I hear Christy, I totally hear that. So even though I didn't hear anything else that was happening, as soon as I hear my name, it gets my attention. And that is the goal. We want to say the name. You want to say the name of your ideal customer to them when you start the conversation. And that's a challenge, right? You've got to find a kind and respectful way to break through all the noise and get the attention of the people you're talking to by saying their name. So that's what your wow-worthy key message does. It literally says the name of your ideal customer and gets them to turn around and engage in a conversation. So how do you do that? Okay, so we're going to break this down into 3 steps. The first step is to identify who they are. That's what we talked about last week. If you missed that video, go to the mytimetoprofit.com blog, watch the video there, because that is the first step. You got to know what their name is if you're going to say it, right? So once you have done that, I want you to actually get in the mind of your ideal customer. Put yourselves in their shoes. So say, for an example, you are an insurance agent and your ideal customer is somebody who is upsizing their home. So they are selling one house and moving into a new, maybe a larger home. And they also own maybe 3 cars. They have teenagers at home that are also driving. I can guarantee you that that person is not thinking about home insurance, car insurance, coverage limits, the liability of their child driving that car. Those aren't the things that they are thinking about in that moment. What they're thinking about is, when can I move in? Do I have help moving? Should I hire movers? Do I need new furniture, right? So if you start talking about insurance, when you're talking to that person, it's just background noise. They're not going to hear it. You've got to speak to what they care about in that moment, right? So it might be, when are we going to close? Are we going to close on time? So maybe you start a conversation with, do you have everything in place that you need to close on time in your house? One of those things is having their insurance policies in place. So notice how that is a totally different conversation starter than, let me talk to you about your home insurance, right? Some other ways you can do this are to creatively use that language, right? If you're focusing on people who are moving into a new, larger house, you might say, when you're moving, the last thing you're probably thinking about is moving your insurance company, but it shouldn't be. And here's why. If I'm moving and I hear when I'm moving, I'm like, oh yeah, they're talking to me, right? So you get the idea. So here's what I want you to do. Here's how you can do this. Here's how you can make this tangible. Ask yourself, what is your ideal customer thinking about before they go home on a Friday evening? What's the first thing they think about when they wake up on a Monday, right? Those are great questions. So I want you to really think about, what are the problems? What's on their mind? What are their concerns? What are their challenges? What are their goals, right? And think about that. What is the first thing they're thinking about when they wake up? What's the last thing they're thinking about on Friday when they're wrapping up their week? That's the second step. So the first step is to know who you're selling to. So you got to know their name. The second step is to get into their mind, understand what their problems are, understand what their concerns. Think like your customer, not like the expert, like your customer. And then the third thing that I want you to do to create your wow-worthy key message is think about, how does this relate to what I'm selling? So get clear on that. Once you've identified what they're thinking about, what their challenges are, and what their goals are, ask yourself how that relates to your product or service, right? Think about, what are the benefits of your product or service as they relate to what your customer is thinking about? So notice that I said benefit, not feature. This is where we get really hung up. I'm going to use this great Hydro Flask water bottle. I was just talking with a client about this. Great example of great marketing. But, right, Hydro Flask isn't like, we use this type of aluminum, this type of paint, this is what your lid is made up of, this is the size that it is. That's the feature. But it might be large capacity water bottle to hold all of your water that you need to stay hydrated on a hike. That's the benefit. Stay hydrated on a hike. That is very different than saying it's 32 ounces and leaving it at that. So when you think about this for your wow-worthy message, think about, how does what you're selling help your customers, specifically related to their problems, what they're thinking of in that moment, and specifically around the benefits, right? So the very last thing I want you to do, this is kind of like an advanced technique, is I want you to identify 3 to 5 benefits or key messages for your product or service as it relates to how your customer is thinking, and then go deeper. Ask yourself, what are 3 questions for each of those benefits that the customer might have? It might be, how much water do I need to take on a 2-mile hike? It might be, right, in the insurance example, it might be, how long is it going to take me to change insurance? When's the last time you reviewed your insurance? Oftentimes asking questions, and I talk a lot about this, is a great way to engage and create conversations. But you can't do that until you know who you're talking to, what they care about, and how that relates to your product or service. So that is your homework for this stage of your wow-worthy key message, is to go back and identify who you're talking to if you haven't already done that. If you've done that, write it down. Then spend some time thinking about, what do they really care about? What do they really think about? And this is really important. Like for me, most of my customers don't care about sales. They really care about growing their business, generating more revenue, having more consistent revenue, but they're not sitting at home thinking, how do I get more sales? So I have to be really conscious of that, because I think about sales all the time, but my customers don't. The same is true in your business. You think about what you offer all the time. Your customer is thinking about the end result. They're thinking about, if I make this proposal to my boss to bring you on as our photographer, how is that going to reflect on me? How am I going to have to manage you? What's the end result, right? These are the things the client's thinking about. So think like the client, and then identify what are the core benefits of your product as they relate to what your client's thinking about. Right there, that's going to give you a great foundation for creating your wow-worthy key message. I want you to put that in the comments below. Put together 1 or 2 of your key messages in the comment below so you can get feedback on that. And then if you haven't already, head on over to the mytimetoprofit.com website. There are some awesome sales tools there. You can download a sales planning checklist. You can download some good questions, some frameworks for asking questions. If you go to the homepage, though, start with the sales planning checklist and tool, and that's a great resource. So again, that's mytimetoprofit.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week.